Hey everyone, welcome to the final Spur video for BART. Today we'll be talking about the section between downtown Oakland and Antioch with a lot of talk about the interesting eBART system. First and foremost though, I of course gotta shout out my awesome patrons, Damon Ibarra, my Patreon you know, Dan Robichaud Carew, Tony Stunts, Generic GT, Geezer Windbag, Oleg, Jake Brabick, Carlos DeLuca, Flatlander, and Ped Dispenser. Rockridge is a lively part of Oakland defined by its coffee shops, bookstores, market halls, record stores, and restaurants. Thankfully, most of the parking here is on the street, and the only notable lot is this one buried under the highway. Now, Rockridge doesn't have a lot of the massive apartment complexes that you're used to seeing, but that's okay. Oakland did enable opportunities for larger developments, which raised the maximum height limit from 35 feet to 130 feet. Remember the parking lots that I talked about earlier, kind of buried underneath Highway 24? Well, BART is actually looking to turn them into dense housing, and more details are to come as developers think of what to do with this land. Overall, I think that more housing here would be great for businesses and would contribute greatly to the local economy, and all I have to say is just build. Alright, it's huge tunnel time. We're going into the 3-mile Berkeley Hills Tunnel. This will drop you off at the small town of Orinda, a relatively tiny city of just under 20,000 people, and it's completely nestled in the Berkeley Hills. Although, to be frank, I have a lot of issues with the station's attempts at integrating with the Orinda community. For starters, this station is a median station in the middle of Highway 24, which is already a red flag. Second, the highway bisects the downtown, so the two main commercial areas of the city are split in two directions, separated by a lot of just asphalt. Also, to get to any of the commercial areas from the BART station, you have to basically go on a hike and use a trail. And, you know, for someone with any mobility issues, I could see this lack of station access being a massive inconvenience for them and completely unacceptable planning-wise. On the west side, when you do get to the downtown, there are some nice buildings to be fair, like the beautiful library, but there's no real urban core, just a series of strip malls and small businesses that are kind of separate from each other. On the east side, it's thankfully newer, it's a lot more accessible with a ramp onto the Moraga Way commercial development, but parking is everywhere and there's no semblance of mixed use at all. Oh yeah, and there's also a ton of parking in the middle of this highway median, taking up just under 600,000 square feet of space. Look, alright, but I'll give the city the benefit of the doubt. Let's look at its downtown precise plan. They want more land use diversity. They're discouraging ground floor uses that detract from pedestrian-oriented activity. Also, very bluntly, the city wished to coordinate with BART for TOD that would put TOD in the station's parking areas. And this is a good sign considering that Orinda and Lafayette are towns that are pretty NIMBY, I'm not gonna lie. And although this plan is very vague with regards to how much housing will be built in the downtown area, it's still a positive sign to see that Orinda actually cares about development. Or this could just be lip service, and we'll have to see in 10 years if Orinda actually follows through with any of these plans at all. Alright, Lafayette's downtown is way nicer than Orinda's, it's way more walkable, even though it doesn't really appear to be so from a bird's eye view. There are a ton of restaurants and small businesses with a lot of street parking space converted to outdoor patio seating for customers, which I'll always be a fan of, but once you leave that area, you're welcomed with a bunch of seas of parking lots that kind of remind me of Castro Valley and Orinda with how wasteful this land use is. Lafayette hasn't even adopted their zoning codes to BART's guidelines. They're not even allowing 75 units an acre, which I feel isn't a lot, but whatever. Let's just see what developments they have in place. You got 66 condos, alright, not a bad start. 6 homes by the Trader Joe's, 20 condo units, 71 units, and that's it. You know, these are fine, and I'm glad that they're getting built, but this isn't enough in the long run to address the needed housing and the housing shortage in the Bay Area caused by this. I mean, Lafayette wants to build 1,400 units in the next 10 years, which at this rate isn't even gonna happen because this is nothing. This is Lafayette isn't full by any metric whatsoever. Alright, we have a little bit of a break from the NIMBYism for a little bit. After meandering on the freeway for a bit, we arrive at a city that actually cares about building densely, Walnut Creek. Now, this station is actually located pretty far walking-wise from its downtown corridor, about a half mile from what I consider the center of its downtown. This really fooled me, and I remember walking in the awful heat, thinking that Walnut Creek downtown was just a stone's throw away. Boy, was I wrong. The immediate station area does have some interesting spots like the Residence Inn, some office towers, and a 600-unit transit village which is under construction. I don't mind these office buildings. I think they're nice, dense, walkable, and are easily accessible to commuters. South of the station, you have the Via apartment complex, and further east of the station, you have a handful of modern mid-rise complexes. Listen, I don't know how you can upgrade from Walnut Creek, but Contra Costa County did just that with this next station. Sure, you have a generic parking garage and a lot here and there, but surrounding the station in unincorporated Contra Costa County, you have the sprawling Avalon development with shaded, narrow, and walkable streets dissecting it. It doesn't hurt, though, that a few diverse businesses already occupy the ground floor, like a bar, pizza spot, and even a damn pet spa. Do you have a conference in San Francisco and you don't have a rental car? No worries. Just stay at the Embassy Suites near this BART station and take BART to the city. There are some offices around here, which again is nice for employees to be close to BART for their commute. Some other awesome developments around here are the newer Hanover, Coggin Square, and the established Park Regency and Eves apartments. Overall, this is simply the best that you're gonna get for this spur, just a fair warning. See, Concord is weird because the area immediately around the station is pretty abysmal, and it's defined by a lot of surface parking with an old garage poking out of it. However, if you walk about 1,500 feet north to the Todos Santos Plaza, you can encounter a very vibrant, walkable, and smaller scale downtown that surrounds the aforementioned park. Outside of some great restaurants ranging from Indian to Italian, and even a movie theater, there are a variety of living spaces around here to choose from. To start, Renaissance Square is a huge 2-block, 5-story Mediterranean-themed complex just steps away from De Los Santos Plaza. You have the way taller Concord Homes and Plaza Tower senior housing spots, but what I really love here are the mixed-use Santos Plaza apartments facing the main square. On the southern end of the city, you have the almost done mixed-use Grant development with about another 230 additional units. Guess what though, there's another downtown area plan from the city of Concord, and what's made very clear is that these parking lots are desired to be built on, and the city is not afraid of completely transforming the BART station area into something similar to Contra Costa Center and Walnut Creek. The city aims to build upwards of about 4,000 additional units in the station area and its downtown, which is admirable considering this is what it currently looks like. So Concord, I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope that this gets done soon. Now, compare downtown Concord with this, and you'll see how the Bay Area is so split on land use. It is so perplexing to me that the station even exists, and that the same city building the ambitious downtown plan also let this monstrosity appear in the mid-90s. Also, I'm really not sure why it's codenamed Martinez when it's 1, in the city of Concord, and 2, about 3 miles from the city limits of Martinez and 6 miles from its downtown. Maybe this was some sort of marketing ploy, but Martinez already has an Amtrak station in the middle of its downtown. There is no form of transit-oriented development around here whatsoever. This is essentially just dropping a high-capacity subway line onto an otherwise car-centric suburb. I see no reason for the station to exist, and I get it. I get the reason for park and ride lots, I get that park and ride exists, but don't you think that this is a bit excessive? What a useless and trash station. Now, alright, I'll calm down for a bit. I'll give some credit to BART. There's no plan per se, but they do have stated intentions to consult with Concord City Council to present future TOD ideas. However, it's the year 2024 as of the recording of this video, and the latest news that I got was an article from 2022 saying that a 360 unit development project in the site got scrapped for no reason whatsoever. So for now, this desolate and boring site awaits a community just waiting to be built on it. Unfortunately, it's highway median time again, and the line runs in the median of Highway 4 for about 4 miles before reaching Pittsburgh Bay Point. So here is the terminus of the regular BART service. At this point, if you want to go further east to Antioch, you have to stay on the train until it takes you to a transfer platform about a half-mile east. From this platform, which is only accessible by BART, you get off of the conventional BART train and walk across the platform for a timed transfer to a completely different eBART diesel train. From there, you can then continue your journey eastward. On the station's south, a 908,000 square foot behemoth of a parking lot is there that will cook anyone during the height of summer with its asphalt surface. In a 99-degree day, I was miserable. I had to walk through this really unsafe street that kind of connects you to this large arterial strode to this generic strip mall southeast of the station, accessible by this overpass. What's super frustrating for Pittsburgh Bay Point isn't even the lack of development. There's a lot of stuff around there, but the lack of connected and walkable development around there. There are tons of houses being built on Leland Road west of here, but they're single family and they have no easy walking connection to BART. And why couldn't these same apartments and townhomes around here have been placed right next to the BART station instead of a huge freeway and strode? It's just simply downright devious. Now, again, there is a master plan. It states that the city wants a mixed-use residential, retail, and flex option lot with a walkable pedestrian plaza and medium-density residential buildings with some green space. And this reminds me a lot of the Richmond Station TOD west of the station, which was also built on a former parking lot. Although I will say this shopping center has too much parking and I think it needs a lot more infill development. Other than that though, I wish this station the best of luck because it is really useful. There are a lot of people that get on and off the station, and I think having a community around it would enhance it even further. Going down the highway once more onto our relatively newer eBART cars, we're at the Pittsburgh Center station. Immediately, you can sense that BART wanted to cut a lot of corners cost-wise here. The stations have a smaller footprint as the platforms are shorter. BART also pulled a VTA by having the pedestrian access point of the station be a highway overpass instead of a designated pedestrian bridge and a head house on the side of the highway. You know what though? I'll give Pittsburgh Center some credit. I actually really like that the parking lot is super small and it's not just a dominant black smudge on the aerial view. On the station south, you have a couple of commercial developments that are new and not recessed, meaning they're close to the street and are more accessible to passersby with parking lots in the back. So, what to do about these empty lots and ample parking around the station? Well, the area plan, again another one, calls for a transit village south of the station on top of the currently zoned commercial and industrial spaces. With a plaza as the gateway, the community would be sprawling and would significantly impact the cityscape of Pittsburgh, with development of high and medium density residential zones, allowing buildings as high as 65 feet. It's only a matter of time until the area realizes its full potential. Alright, we are here at the last station of the spur, as well as the last BART station in this series, and I really saved the worst for last. Antioch is a highway median station, but you depart the eBART car, you get up onto the Highway 4 overpass, and step onto the escalator. You exit, enter the head house, exit the head house, and a massive, ginormous, awful parking lot greets you. And that's not it. You look to the left, parking. To the right, more parking. Further to the right, even more parking. You're confused. This station was built in 2018. Well, how can this be? Doesn't BART want more TOD? Why is the area like this? My friend, this parking lot is 635,000 square feet of free real estate for cars. It is 3,200 feet from end to end. A pavement princess's paradise. And hey, there's a nice residential community on Larkspur Drive. Does that get an overpass? What if residents in that community want to use BART? I know I've said this a lot already, and I keep repeating myself, but I truly mean it. This might be the worst BART station of all time. You're not even on the real BART system, there's barely any shade in the form of bus stops in the bus plaza, and there's no form of transit-oriented development in the slightest. It's only a giant parking lot. And again, this station was built cheaply. These are the seats that you're supposed to wait on. The devil is real. He just manifests himself as the Antioch BART station. Is there even an area plan? And can this station be saved? Yes. The city of Antioch has a chance to redeem itself by following through with its area plan, which aims to build 2,500 dwelling units and 2.5 million square feet of commercial space in the station area. I don't like, though, that according to this map, there's no residential space built directly adjacent to the station, and instead there will be a buffer zone that consists of community retail and office space. Whatever the plan may say, this is simply way too much parking for a 6-year-old station, and there needs to be a groundbreaking for development as soon as possible. It's a shame that I had to end it on the Antioch station, but hopefully the stations in the future won't repeat this mistake. And for the love of God, can we just please have actual BART service to Antioch? Thank you. Well, besides SFO, I have covered all 50 BART stations that exist so far. This isn't the final video of the series. Stick around for the last and final part of BART, where I will talk about the future of the system and its expansions, as well as my final thoughts. Thank you to all those who support me on Patreon and all of the lovely conversations on my Discord, which is open to anyone and everyone. Thank you so much if you've made it this far, and I'll see you for the last and final BART video real soon.